right-wing attorney Sidney Powell could be finding herself in even more trouble than she is already in, as new reports have revealed that she could potentially be disbarred for lying in the federal election challenge lawsuits that she filed. And nope, I'm not talking about lying about election fraud. I'm talking about the way she filed these cases. New reports have revealed that Sidney Powell allegedly listed people as plaintiffs in these lawsuits that never signed up. So that would be a case of fraud. You cannot list somebody as a plaintiff in a lawsuit unless they specifically sign up as a plaintiff in a lawsuit. But the reports suggest that she did in fact do that. On top of that, she also listed many lawyers as her co-counsel in these lawsuits, but it turns out that those lawyers had nothing whatsoever to do with the cases. Now, the reports do make clear that she did get permission from the lawyers to list them. However, the fact that they were listed but did not actually work on the case also raises serious ethical legal questions. So what does this all mean? Well, to me, if these reports are accurate, and we're going to treat them at the moment as if they are, it shows us that Sidney Powell is a complete and total fraud. Again, assuming everything is correct, then she is a fraud that needs to have her law license revoked. She should not be allowed to practice law if she is fabricating plaintiffs, using their names against their will without their permission to file her phony and fictitious lawsuits. Now, she has already been popped, I believe it was up in Michigan, to have to reimburse a city in Michigan for the court costs they incurred because she filed this fictitious lawsuit. She was involved with Lynn in that one, I believe. And of course, as we all know, talked about it earlier this week, Lynn and Sidney Powell are having this huge fight right now, calling each other frauds and communists and deep state plants and whatever it is. Yeah, it's ugly, it's dirty, but I hate to say it, I kind of have to take Lynn Wood's side on that after these new revelations about Sidney Powell. And this could also be what that grand jury was impaneled for in Washington, D.C. Because let's not forget, also revealed this week, Sidney Powell is under criminal investigation in Washington, D.C., and that has proceeded to the point where there is a grand jury overseeing that. And many weeks ago, they actually requested financial documents from her because they believe, based on what other people involved have told them, that a political action committee that she set up, along with a nonprofit group that she set up, was basically a money funneling organization, and nobody else associated with, according to reports, has any idea what happened to the millions of dollars she raised. So there's that, which could potentially be charity fraud. Then there's this issue of illegally listing people as plaintiffs in lawsuits that did not sign on to the lawsuit. She's got the $1.3 billion defamation lawsuit against her from Dominion Voting Systems. She already has to pay back the city in Michigan for filing a basically fictitious lawsuit, forcing them to incur legal costs. She is in a lot of trouble. And the fact that she currently still has a law license is insane. At the very least, they need to suspend it and say, listen, until all of these matters are resolved, you can't practice law. But she could. Sidney Powell could go and file a lawsuit today if she felt like it, because this legal system is taking so long to find out if she is or is not basically committing widespread fraud. Again, all of that hinges upon all of these stories being correct. However, we have no reason to actually doubt these stories. Powell, on the other hand, has a history based on these lawsuits of basically just being willy-nilly with the truth and, doing whatever the hell she wants anyway. So I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm going to believe that these stories are correct and that Powell is indeed a fraud that needs to be disbarred.